Hello, Alyssa.
Hey,
Congratulations on your comedy special.
thank you so much.
It was so much fun to be able to watch your whole special, knowing that it's going to be on Peacock. You can say whatever the heck you wanted. How freeing was that for you, knowing that there are no broadcast limitations?
Oh, wow. Yeah, it was really great. And I feel really grateful for Peacock too, because beyond that, it did feel like there's no limitations. They really let me go where I wanted to go and say what I wanted to say, which I think is important always, but in particular, when it's a show that's so close to my life and my lived experience, that I think it was really nice that I wasn't limited in any way. Yeah.
I love the fact that you were able to really take this trying time in your life and talk about it through comedy, which is a really scary thing to do, but also was it kind of cathartic for you as well? Talk to me about that evolution.
Totally. It began, I would say, as catharsis, but maybe even like survival. It was just, I had been living with my dad while he was dying, and my mom was really struggling, and I was a kid, and my dad didn't want to talk about it. So there was a lot of pent up, like, I've just witnessed this whole thing. No one knows and I have to tell people. I can't just go back to saying, someone's saying like, how are you? And being like, good. I have to share what I just went through. And so that's where the show began from. So it was really cathartic in that sense. And then I sort of stopped doing it when it became no longer cathartic. And when I was just like, oh, okay, I think I'm a little sad to keep revisiting this, so I need to pause. And then about 4 years later, I revisited it again and brought this second chapter of it, which was living without my dad, grief, moving forward, and how his death and life changed me. And so totally cathartic, and also totally like just a treat to get to spend all this time both with my dad and with grief. To really have it as my job for a while was to look at grief, and I feel like I was able to process a lot that I wouldn't have if I hadn't revisited it.
Yeah. And I feel like your special is going to be, and for those who were there with you in the audience, it's going to be so special for those who are dealing with grief and can find out that it's okay to laugh and connect with you. Like, talk to me about the fan reaction and the stories that you've heard.
Totally. I feel that way. That is my real hope, because the best part of any show was leaving the show and having someone come up to me and tell me that, just sharing their experience with me, that was the best part. And so the idea that could happen to more people when they watch this is that to me is what I hope comes out of this, is people being able to say, hey, one, I'm not alone. Look at all these people in this special who have shared that they've lost someone, as well as, okay, it's messy. You can laugh, you can be sad. It can last for 6 years and you still aren't over it, but also you can move away from someone and that doesn't mean you're moving on. So I think giving people permission to be okay with whatever their experience looks like on grief, to me is what I hope people come out of it with.
Definitely. One of the things that I love so much about comedy specials is I'm always wondering, like, what it's like to be there. Like, what are the behind the scenes secrets that when we're at home on our couch, we don't get to see? Take me back to that day. Was this one day that you filmed it? Was it in a number of days and you just wore the same outfit? Like, give me the behind the scenes secrets, Alyssa.
Yes. Okay. It's because I didn't know about this either.
Yeah.
So, you only have the theater for 2 days. So it all happens very fast. So I wasn't in the theater until, the day before we shot. So they have to build the whole set. My amazing team, Alan Edelman on lights and Todd Ivins on set, they built this whole thing in a day. And then the next day it's all built. And I have a rehearsal that morning where we do a cue to cue. So they have to know where I'm moving, and I move a lot. Yes.
Do you have to move the same place each time?
Thank God, no, because they had a follow spot, it's called, which I learned, thankfully, because then they could just follow me. But there are certain moments where it's important I land here, or it's important I land here for certain visual cues. But then basically that night we do it twice. So you do it in the same night, 2 times, you wear the same outfit, same hair, and different audiences. So they pull in 2 different sets of audiences and you get 2 shots. So it's kind of nice. You don't feel like you just have one, you do one. My first one we didn't stop much. We just ran it through. And then once we had that for the second one, we were able to try some different things. And if we wanted to try an alternate joke or an alternate positioning of the camera, we could say, okay, let's stop and reset. So a lot of people came to the second show, were like, oh, I had no idea that you stop and reset in a live taping. Which,
that's what I was going to say. So did you do that with the live audience?
Yeah, with a live audience. But it's kind of fun because, I'm an improviser and you work the clubs a lot. You're used to people dropping checks or things happening that are a heckler or that you kind of have to just deal with. So it was fun. Anytime we reset, it was an opportunity to make a joke and bring them in on it. They were very in on the experience.
I like that. And I would hope that because they're in on the experience, that there is like a implied or unimplied rule of like, don't heckle the artist when they're about to film their comedy special. Was that like a pamphlet or a Post-it note that was posted somewhere?
It wasn't a Post-it, but I had all these funny experiences on the road of some people heckling me that once I had a really brutal heckle, I started opening all my shows, telling people about that heckle and going, we're not going to be like that audience, are we? So that was a way that I would do it, which is like, look, I understand that you might have the instinct to do this because someone's done it before, but we're not going to do that because you guys are better than that. And so then that always helped me buffer. So I had that one bad experience ended up helping me have less bad experiences moving forward. Yeah.
Fantastic. And I hope that person.
No, I'm very forgiving of it because I'm doing something. You're coming to a comedy club and I'm doing something different than what you might have bought your ticket for or expected. So it's totally fair. If you're having a bachelorette party with your gals and I'm like, my dad is dead. And you're like, wait a minute, I didn't want this.
You're like, you can still marry him. It's fine. Just listen to this.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. Yeah. But through health and sickness. Yes. Yeah.
Still on the behind the scenes secrets of it all. I love that you said that you wore the same outfit twice.
Yep.
Give me the insider scoop into like selecting that outfit. Why was that the one that you're like, let's.
Oh, totally. I mean, that was a large decision. I had been doing the show for every single time I've done the show, I did it in a black, like slip dress that was just jersey material. So I knew I wanted it to be similar to what I'd been used to doing on the road. Cause it is a very physical show. I'm moving a lot. It had to be something that I felt I could move in, but I wanted it to be a little elevated because the other one kind of hung on me. So I went through tons and tons of dresses. And then a couple nights before, I was like, I wore this dress to a birthday once and I loved how I felt in it. And so I ordered it because I was in New York. I live in LA, but I was in New York and I ordered it. And I was like, just in case. And I want to say the morning of, I tried it on, I sent a text, I think to my manager, and she was like, yeah, that's the one. And then we were like, that's the one. So it was down to the wire, but we just knew once it was on, like, yeah, it checks all the boxes. It feels right.
Shoe choice
For me was sneakers are, me and my dad's thing, lots of exercise. His thing of always pack sneakers just in case. So I knew I wanted it to be sneakers. I always performed with sneakers and I wanted to look ever so slightly dressy. And so I poked through a bunch, and my friend Hannah Judge, actually, she's just my most stylish friend. And I early on reached out to her being like, I need cool shoes. And she was like on it. And she picked those out and I tested them out and I was like, yeah, these are great.
Especially since you walk back and forth so much. And I was like, can you imagine like being on your heels all that?
Oh, totally. And I run and I'm like, all I need is I couldn't afford to, cause usually look, I mean, I can't really show you, but I want to say 7-inch heels on right now. So I love a heel. I love a platform. I love like cool, cute outfits. But for this show, it was a real balance of functionality as well as fashion, having to ride that line of this is an athletic show while also looking cute. Yeah.
Well, I know that comedy is such a boys' club. And so thank you for indulging me in these like girly questions, because like, I always wonder, I'm like, if I were to be up there, like, I'd want to wear something comfortable, but like, then like knowing like people are like looking at you like this up, like,
right. I know.
Well, lastly, what is one thing that you want fans to know before they tune into your comedy special?
Yes, I think that's a great question because I really want them to know just at its core that this is a special where we're going to talk about death and grief. So it's your choice whether you want to come into this world. And I hope you do. I hope you're open to it. But if you're not ready for that, that's okay too, because I know that it's also something that you have to be ready for. But I hope you take the chance and jump in because if you're at any stage of grief, I do think that we'll find some commonality and some community in this experience together. Yeah.